And shortly after, within hours, so I got a call from Mr. Jackson telling me how elated he was that I would want to join the trip. Of course, I did not have a commitment made, but that was how it started.
I'm sure you guys have heard on the news. The news is reporting that you don't work for Mr. Jackson, but you work for AEG. Is that correct or incorrect?
How do I define that? When Mr. Jackson asked me to be on his team, I was talking to Mr. Jackson himself. He offered me employment, and I was of the opinion that he would be my employer directly. Subsequently to accepting that, I realized that AEG would be the one paying for the salary that he requested. So that was their arrangements as far as how they would finance me. So I am an employee for Michael Jackson, but paid through AEG. Does that help you?
Oh yeah. So Michael picked you, but somebody else to get in the tag.
All of the admonishments, the written admonishments as well as the verbal admonishments. Please enjoy your lunch, and we're going to be in recess until 1:30 p.m., at which time we resume. See you at 1:30. Thank you. Jones. In the Murray case, the defendant, Dr. Murray, is present with his counsel as before. The people by their counsel as before. Detective Smith is on the stand once again. All jurors and alternates are present as well. To everybody, good afternoon. Good afternoon. Detective, good afternoon, sir. Do you acknowledge you're still under oath and still sworn to tell the truth?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Mr. Walgren?
Thank you, and I just need a moment to cue it up.
Well, okay, where you're
Was it for
you're at page 16, line
for
13.
medical reasons? Or?
Yeah, I'm on a different.
I need a moment to cue it up. It's not by page on my computer, and I don't know the exact time.
It was on page 11.
I guess it would have been sometime later.
Generally speaking,
Sure, if you're the only doctor.
no.
Well,
I'm sorry, doctor. What kind of doctor are you?
I am a cardiologist,
This is good.
interventional
This is
cardiologist.
repeating
My
partially.
specialty. I'm a cardiologist specialist. I have a specialty also in
Did Jackson and Michael seek you out for that reason because you're a cardiologist, or?
No. I first met him in 2006.
page 9.
When a patient friend who was a security guard with him asked that I see him as a request because he was not feeling well. He wanted to see a doctor.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much.
And when you first started attending, seeing Michael Jackson in 2006, what was that for?
There was a family flu illness between himself and his children. They were coughing and had a runny nose, and they felt dehydrated, and they were not really getting enough rest at that time.
Okay, and I'm sorry, you were referred by a patient of yours?
A patient's son, who also is a patient of my practice.
And he was a security
He was
guard?
a security guard, and he made the recommendation.
Okay.
This last section of time that you've been caring for him, how long continuously has it been?
A little over 2 months.
A little over 2 months. Can you tell us how that came to be?
I was called by Mr. Jackson, assistant. His name is Amir, Brother Amir.
Yeah.
And he said Mr. Jackson wanted to speak with me. And then he mentioned that for the first time, because I hadn't seen him for a while, that they were going to be doing the concert tours in England. Mr. Jackson would very much like me to be part of the trip and to be there for the concerts. And I agreed to that, and I said, well, I need more details about that, and that was basically the gist of the question. Then he called Mr. Jackson. Apparently, I was not present. And shortly after, within an hour or so, I got a call from Mr. Jackson telling me how elated he was that I would want to join the trip. Of course, I did not have a commitment made, but that was how it started.
I'm sure you guys have heard on the news. The news is reporting that you don't work for Mr. Jackson, but you work for AEG. Is that correct or incorrect?
How do I define that? When Mr. Jackson asked me to be on his team, I was talking to Mr. Jackson himself. He offered me employment, and I was of the opinion that he would be my employer directly. Subsequently to accepting that, I realized that AEG would be the one paying for the salary that he requested. So that was their arrangements as far as how they would finance me. So I am an employee for Michael Jackson, but paid through AEG. Does that help you?
Oh, yeah. So Michael picked you, but somebody else to get in the tag.
I had no idea that was the case.
Okay, so 2 months caring for him. Is the 2 months all been here in California, or was it split between here and Las Vegas?
Basically here.
Basically here?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, can you tell us about the general health of Mr. Jackson?
Generally speaking, he was not a person who ate well. He's very thin. I knew he probably was seeing other physicians for other issues that he did not disclose to me clearly. So I'm not sure if he was totally candid about all of his general condition, but during a cursory physical examination, I did not find any major physical change except for a subluxation of his right hip.
A what?
Subluxation.
I don't know what that means.
It's like if you have a joint that goes out of place and comes back in at a certain angle. So whenever he bent to 90 degrees or greater, his right hip would slip out of the joint, sits back up and it's right back in. That was the case. He had some fungal disease of the toes, which was treated before, and that was well. No other systemic illness like hypertension or high blood pressure, so it was recognized by me.
Do you have any follow-ups on that?
No, not on that.
Go ahead, jump in.
The day that you were notified, I guess it would have been sometime late Wednesday evening into the early morning hours of Thursday. Who telephoned you?
I was telephoned by Brother Michael Amir, letting me know that Mr. Jackson was finishing rehearsal around that time. I looked at my watch when I got a call. It was about 12:10 in the morning, 12:10 a.m. And I would meet them at home.
Did he mention any, just that rehearsal was finishing, or did he say that there were any problems?
I asked about problems because I constantly made that inquiry into how well he had done that day. Did he perform well? And I'm told that he had a lot of meetings, and he did a partial performance, not full performance. And he wanted me there by the time he got me.
Okay, so he didn't complain of anything, just wanted you there at the house. Normal.
Yes.
We understand that you had been spending some nights at the house?
Not some nights. I spent every night.
Oh, every night.
With the exception of the nights I was off, which was on the Sunday.
Was it for medical reasons or just to make him feel better that you spent the night?
It was Mr. Jackson's request.
Okay.
So you were there 6 nights a week?
Yes.
Okay. And Sunday was typically your day off?
Yes.
Unless something
Yes.
happened with Michael?
Sure.
Okay. The bedroom where he was, well, let me back up a little bit. What time did you arrive there that night after you received this call at a little after midnight?
All right, I got there about 12:50. Close to 1 o'clock.
Did you arrive alone?
Yes.
Okay. And when you got there, what took place?
I went to Mr. Jackson's room. Of course, he has 2 rooms in the house. And the one that I was customarily seeing him at, I went to his room, and I waited for his arrival.
Oh, so you arrived at the house before you got back from
Yeah.
there or something?
So Michael hadn't been back yet. You got there beforehand?
Sure.
Okay. And what time did Michael arrive?
Shortly after, probably just maybe around 1:05 a.m. I can see exactly what the precision of time was.
Yeah, that's fine. Estimation is good.
Once Michael arrives, what takes place?
I usually ask, he said, "Good night, hi, how are you?" And I said the same to him, and then he says, "So how was your day? Are you fine? How are you feeling?" And he says, "Oh, tired and fatigued." And I treat it like I'm a machine. He constantly said that. But let me just have a quick shower, change, and I'll come back to you.
Okay. And what took place next?
After showering, and so he came back to the room, and I would put on some cream on his body for him, lotion, and in his back.
What kind of cream was this?
It's a cream that he uses chronically for dermatological issues.
I'm sorry, for what?
Dermatological
Okay.
issues. He walks with an umbrella in the sun. He says that he has an allergic reaction to the sun, which probably stemmed from a history of vitiligo.
That's the white spots.
Yeah.
And when this was being done, there's 2 rooms when you go upstairs, one immediately to your left, which I guess would have been Michael's. And then there's another room where the IV drip was set up, if you will, and all the oxygen bottles.
Right.
Would that typically be your room?
That would be the room where I would typically see him. No one else was allowed to go into the other room to the left. I asked him about that, and typically wherever he lived, he always had 2 sites. First of all, he did not trust people coming into his room because he had lost things before, and his room was always in a bad state, and not even the cleaners would be allowed to go in there. So I never went into that room.
And when you were seeing Michael this night, putting this cream on him, was he in the room that you would typically stay in?
Yes.
Okay. On the bed?
Yes.
Was anyone else in the room?
No.
Okay, so it's just you and Michael. Okay.
Usually that's how it is.
Okay. And this night it was just you and Michael?
Just myself and him.
Okay. So after you put this cream on him, what takes place? What happens next?
Well, the usual thing is that he wants to sleep.
Okay. And does he go to sleep? Does anything take place after you put the cream on him?
No, he's not able to sleep naturally.
Okay. So what happens next?
So basically I would put an IV.
Is that for dehydration or?
Hydration as well, because when he exercises or dances, he loses a lot of fluid.
Okay. So this evening you put the IV in?
Yes.
Okay.